Hey everyone, this is OJ, your brush jockey over here at Brush Jockey Studios, bringing you a 1 hour painting challenge tonight. Tonight, this is a challenge that I have for myself. This is a model that I'm doing for a commission, and I am extremely excited to be able to take a look at its the possibility of getting this done in an hour, and I would like to make it as close to as possible as the Commissar on the Games Workshop site. So we are going to be taking a look and diving deep into that. So thank you all for joining me, and yeah, so let's dive right in. So just to kind of for anybody who's joining me for the first time tonight. We're taking a look at a 1 hour painting challenge. So this is where I take a model that has been primed and paint it until I feel that it is ready for the tabletop. In this case here, I am going to be painting this one to the Games Workshop Studio colors. It's a nice Commissar. I've loved this model for a while. It's a great model to be able to take a look at and do in this case. So, without further ado, let's start taking and looking at some paints, and we'll get started as soon as we have them out and ready. Okay, so for flesh, I am going to be using a contrast and layer and layering method on this, so kind of a blended delivery of it essentially. So I'm going to do an elfic flesh to get onto his skin. Commissars I feel will be a nice pale color. Then I'm going to use a Gilliman flesh over top of that to give it its shading and whatnot. I'm going to use the white aluminum metal color from the acrylic Vallejo airbrush colors line to get his breastplate, shoulders, sword, and bolt pistol. I am going to use a Black Templar and Basilicum Gray contrast colors. Hey, Ron Lower, how's you going, buddy? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. Challenging myself to the 1 hour painting challenge. Going to be using the Basilicum Gray for all of his armor, all of his clothing underneath. Black Templar for his boots, and the bolt, the casing for the bolt gun. I'm going to do a Blood Angels Red for his cuffs, the edges of his armor, his hat. What else am I going to do here? I'm going to do a Magos Purple. Am I going to do a Magos Purple? Yeah, I think it's a Magos Purple. We're going to do a Magos Purple for his cloak. And we got some Apothecary White for his sash and his gloves. And we're going to do a Basilicum Gray. Where's my Basilicum Gray? I had a Basilicum Gray out here. Well, not Basilicum Gray, sorry. I'm going to do a... I had a different gray out here. Oh, sorry, that's Apothecary White. I had a different gray. Where's the gray that I had? Anyways, I'm going to do a different style gray. Griff Charger gray, I think, for the fur out there. G-Spock, nice timing on the stream. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's something that I do every second Tuesday. I do a 1 hour painting challenge. So I go 6:30 through till a little bit past to be able to get the 1 hour in. But yeah, we're gonna then do. What else am I gonna do here? I got some yellows. I'm gonna do Averland Sunset and a wash color for like a Gore Grunta fur. We're gonna do Aragos Dunes and Averland Sunset for the ropes and whatnot. Finally, for gold, we'll do good old Retributor armor as well as a wash of. Let's see what we got here. We got Reichland Flesh Shade. All right, so here we go. All my paints are out. As you can see, I have them all on my stream window here, so we're going to get them out of the way. I'm going to pick a nice little brush here to use. All right, so we've got our palette out. It's my messy palette. That's okay. We're gonna start off. So just like anything, even just a regular thing, even with my 1 hour painting challenges, I like building from skin out. So I'm gonna do my face, I'm gonna do my clothing, then my armor, then my cloaks and all the details. Okay. So here we go. 6:35. Start the clocks. So as we're taking a look at what I'm doing here tonight, what is everybody else working on or doing this evening? And then picking up that box of the scorpions. Nice. Have you? I'm guessing you're working on scorpions then, Garrett. That's cool. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of putting a single layer down on his face here of the elfic flesh, just because I want the contrast to really stand out on this one. So I'm just putting this on. Gonna get that in there really good. It's okay if I'm a little sloppy in this case right now. But Ronlar, what are you up to this night, this fine evening? I see TBMC Kevin's in here as well, lurking about. Mr. Nuts 31. I'm making chili. Going to paint some shredders for my Legion tomorrow. Nice, cool. You're still going strong with the War Machine, the War Hordes evenings. That's cool. Just prime them all. Just starting to work on them. I think that the Striking Scorpions from the Eldar line is probably one of my favorite units that I've ever painted. Besides the Harlequin stuff, I think it's the most satisfying models that I've painted. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm off camera here. So let's get this over here. I'm probably gonna have to put on my spectacles. Dang, man. I knew I bought these, but geez. There we go. I'm gonna take a look. What are we doing? Oh yeah. These are awesome. These are super awesome. I know. Ron Laura's thinking, what? OJ? What are you doing, you old man? The first time some people are seeing me in my spectacles. But they are needed. I am getting old, and I am feeling it. So all I'm doing is essentially laying down all of the metalwork for the model in this case. So all of his armor is going to be washed or darkened. So sword, because I want this super dry before I put my washes down, right? So, working with only an hour, I want to make sure that all of the base layers get down first. Junior One Eye, first time viewer here. Yeah, Junior One Eye. Thanks for joining. You'll see my my old man glasses that I have put on here. I'm coming to terms with my age. So this is a commissar from the Warhammer 40K line in the Imperium box, or Imperium kind of faction, Imperial Guard. So he's pretty cool lad. He's definitely enjoyable looking model. He looks like he's a meanie. Commissars are the lore around them in the setting is that they're the hard asses in the militarium, and they will lead with fear. So essentially, they shoot their own. If the Imperial Guardsmen, if the infantry lines are falling back, they will shoot one of their own to say that you either die by the enemy or die by the leader type of thing. So kind of a badass type of thing. But yeah, thanks for joining. Welcome, Junior One Eye. Yes, absolutely. Not working on cam. I'm not working on cam. Okay, I gotta figure this out. I just shifted around all of my equipment, so I just need to make sure that everything is working here. Hopefully. This is a little better. Okay, so with the base coat now down, now you'll notice that this is extremely stark, right? You can kind of really see. I'm just making sure that I get underneath all of the little details here. So when working with a limited amount of time, I want to make sure that that's done nice and bright, so that when I do a wash, the contrast will be really noticeable on that. All right, so with that said, I think it's time for me to start with some of the darker colors. We're going to do Black Templar on the boots, so we're going to go from the ground up here. So we're going to take our time. Going to get in here and be a little bit closer. Let me see if I can get in here without blocking the line. There we go. So again, I'm using a mix of the contrast paints. There we go. So, Junior Eye. Hey, Jezebel! How's she going? Long time no see. Thanks for joining in. This is the model. This is a model from Imperial Guard. It's a commissar. Do you use contrast paints often? I have to start painting and looking for pointers between base coats, layers, and so on. Yeah, I've actually been really kind of experimenting a lot with them. I find that they're a really great starting point. If you're new to painting, absolutely, it's a great starting. It's a great starting method. I like using it as a combination of. It gives me a good start of where I see my shadows and whatnot. So now I'm just switching over to Basilicum Gray to get the gray tones on this guy here. So I'm going to highlight with a little bit of a blue for those boots, just to kind of make them look a little bit more shiny and leathery. And then I'm going to keep these with a matte gray finish, so that the clothing looks gray as opposed to the blue. But yeah, I've been experimenting with the contrast paints pretty extensively over the past couple months since they released. What are you working on tonight, Jezebel? It's been a while since you've been on watching the stream. Okay, and I'm being a little bit sloppy here, so I probably should be a little bit more careful in not getting the cuffs, because I want that to be red. I don't want them to be a dark red, so I'm gonna have to come back with a lighter color, a lighter tone to lighten them up again to bring it back. And what's nice is I'm going to use my Basilicum Gray watered down a little bit as my wash for my armor here. So my armor was dry, so as I put that on, my nice white aluminum, because it is so stark, it gives me a nice contrast and makes it so that my aluminum, or my metal pieces, look like almost like a gunmetal silver. That's a little bit more appropriate, so you can kind of see. Let's see what we look like here. Boot. Come on, camera, focus in. I know you got it. Come on, camera. What's going on? Let me just double check to make sure I have my autofocus on. There, I didn't have autofocus on. That's why things were looking bad. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So my metallics are a little bit better, a little bit nice. So I'm gonna do the same with my gun. And the sword as well. Now the sword, because it's a power sword, I'm going to come in with a little bit of tint and tone to that a little bit later, but I do want to get my shadows in, so just in case I do run out of time, so that this is actually going to be done. Just will work, but I just got a bunch of dwarfs and plan on assembling some more and painting a couple on my own time. Nice. What does a wash do, and when would you use it? So a wash is a method to be able to darken or shadow or provide a shade to a color, so it deepens the color tone. So there's many different types of washes or colors of washes that you use. In this case here, I kind of mixed this basilicum gray contrast paint with water to make it more look like a wash. It's almost like a liquid, like a watery paint that that provides a saturation of the color. Sorry, not a saturation, but a shading of the color, and it kind of just flows into the recesses of the model. So in that case, there, you know, in this case, my wash that I made with the basilicum gray flowed, and you can see that all of it seeped into the recesses, and it's just going to shade the recesses and leave the top part light. So it's a little bit more of a watery version of a contrast paint. Okay, so I'm just putting in some Gilliman flesh here on the skin tone. I'm going to need to come in and do some highlighting on there, so I'm going to take a look at that. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to also do this now. I'm going to lighten up those cuffs right now. I got to be very careful because this basilicum gray is wet still, so I'm just kind of essentially lighting this up a little bit, lighting it up so that I can apply that red on there. And I'm just being really careful to not make it so that the color gets onto the other area there. So, there we go. It's okay if it blends, that's all right. I'm actually gonna paint the gloves because my gloves are white gloves. So I'm just gonna kind of get that all in there. So it's like a dress uniform that this commissar is using. It's a white glove treatment. Get underneath, get all of that. That's going to be gold. Okay. Gonna also lighten up some of the things that I want to be leather. Okay, so this is going from a black to a leather, like a brown, like a. Okay. There we go. What else do we have here? All right, I think we are good to go for that. All right. Next up. Okay, so we're gonna start putting in some other colors here. I'm gonna let the cuffs dry. I'm gonna start with some of my white. So I'm gonna get in. This is a Apothecary white from the contrast. This is the first time I'm actually trying it, so I'm gonna be screwed if it doesn't work. Pleasantly surprised if it does. Oh, my basilicum gray is still wet on there. So I'm just going to wait. So I'm just essentially gonna, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of erasing here. How many coats of contrast or other paints would you normally do? That depends. If you're using base color paints from Citadel, their opacity is fairly good. You can get away with 1 or 2 coats. Sometimes their layer colors are a little bit less. Army Painter is a very thin paint as well that would require a fairly extensive amounts of layers. Contrast paints, I'll typically do 1 layer of it unless I want that color to be a little bit more saturated, in which case I would do that. So in this case here, that 1 layer of the basilicum gray allows me to see, you can see the actual highlights on his clothing already done, right? So I'm not gonna do another coat of that contrast because In this case here, my highlights are already where I want it to be. All right, so I'm gonna come in and do a little bit of highlighting with some blue-gray on the boots while I'm waiting for other pieces to dry. So this is where my old man glasses are gonna come in place. Oh, I need a nice small brush here as well. I know, everybody's laughing. Haha, old man OJ. Use your old man glasses. All right. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking my brush. I've loaded it up. I'm removing most of the paint from the bristles, and I'm just gonna come in and grab those edges where I know they're gonna be a little bit brighter. Okay, and I'm just doing it along the edges of those highlighted areas. Those leather straps are going to be a different color. Okay, so there we go. So you can see I just got a little bit more highlights on there, just to kind of bring out those boots a little bit more. I'm gonna get those golds on there fairly shortly as well to be able to do that. Do I offer lessons? Actually, I do have a patron account, so you can probably see in the socials below. I have a patron account where I offer tutoring sessions on a monthly basis if you're at a certain tier of the patron. So so the short answer is yes, I do. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and start doing some reds. I want to get some color on here. It's a little bit drab for me, so I'm just going to get my reds on here. I want to be a little bit more careful with this here. Just making sure these reds are just getting to where I want it to be. Right. So sometimes it's useful to be a little bit more sloppy, and it's okay. But in this case here, I'm starting this, and making sure that I'm getting exactly where I need it to be. You know what, guys? I think that you guys are a little bit too far away. So I'm gonna bring you in closer, so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Hopefully that's a little better. Okay, no more questions. I'll let you paint. Oh no, that's why we're here, Junior One Eye. We're happy to answer questions of all sorts and sizes while I'm doing it. That's actually why I'm here in the first place, is to assist and help people kind of, you know, get a little bit more information to be able to paint their own models and you know, hopefully motivate you. You know, all while challenging myself to do silly things like paint this to a decent standard in an hour or less. Okay, so there we go. Get those reds. Is there any other reds? Yes, there is. Okay, so the reds here. It's still a little dark. It's still a little wet down there. Dang. That's okay. That's okay. This is gonna make it so that this is a nice red, dark red. I'm gonna hopefully have some time to come back and fix this up a little bit with some layers. So in this case here, Junior One Eye. Jason Alsert, hey dude, how's it going? Mini painting, we're doing a Commissar from the Imperial Guard line from Games Workshop. It's actually Lord Commissar. So as I was saying, Junior One Eye, G-Spock motivates me to get good so my models don't look as bad on the same table. Hey, that's, you know what, everybody's models look great on the table as long as they're painted by you and you have some kind of you have some sense of accomplishment in painting them. Models with 3 colors on them look great, period. They look a lot better than gray models. So no harm in no, I did it. Yep, I did it. I just knocked over my Gilliman flesh. Oh, I didn't close it. Stupid ass OJ. Okay, so quick cleanup here. 6:56. Dang, gotta do a quick cleanup. Okay, bear with me here while I get some paper towels. Jason Halsert says, nice, looks good so far. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm just focusing on getting this cleaned up before it makes a horrible further mess. Okay, there we go. Palette cam clean. This is back to where it needs to be. There we go. Things are closed. Clean piece of paper towel. There we go. Disaster averted. Make sure I don't have any big stains on my hands so that it doesn't get on my model. And there we go. So, it happens to everyone sometime. It just happens to some more frequently. Thank you, Jason, for that awesome comment. I do need that Gilliman flesh back though, because I need that color. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna start some highlighting process for my models. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna put my old man glasses on here. I'm just gonna start highlighting a little bit of the skin down in here. So I'm not. Can come back in and do a little bit of a wash on there as well. I want all of that to be like a skin tone. Okay. There we go. Okay, so with that, oh no, it's splashed. Gonna get some yellows in here. So I'm gonna get all of the yellows for the gold and whatnot. So we'll lay down some gold, just the yellow here first. So I'm using Averland Sunset. Okay, get that there. The ends of the row here, the little sash that he has. Okay, and then we'll get some gold. I'll need to get some old man glasses in that holder. Yeah, the holder to hold the pots. Yeah, if that's this holder. Yeah, this is one. I actually have some cool ones as well that I make myself. I'm actually working on making a video of doing it myself. So I just use the top ends of like a pop bottle, and what's cool is you can then exchange miniatures, right? So take the miniature off, go from one piece to another. So I'm putting a YouTube video together about how to create those. So it's gonna be pretty cool. All right, we're gonna get some gold down now. Okay, gold. Okay, I'm gonna get my old man glasses back on here. Let's get my gold pieces. So again, I'm just working fairly quickly on this, right? This is a 1 hour challenge. Typically what I'll do is I'll take my time a little bit more and wait in between, be a little bit more patient with things. But the key to speed painting like this is to find efficiencies in your paint, right? And what's nice about it is I find that it works really well when you're actually painting large-scale armies. Right, so I have about 50 or 60 Scion models to paint for my client, and so what I'm doing is I've speed painted a couple of his models already, so you can see them here. I'll show you. So I've speed painted these guys here. So each of these were done in less than about 15 to 20. I'd say probably about 30 minutes. So essentially, the model's got a base coat of everything that it needs, and allows me to find deficiencies in how to paint the model. So then, when I'm painting the batch of 50 of them, I'll know the layers. Wow, I look like an old man. So yeah, I paint all of the different areas of the model in a certain order after I've set up those after I've done painting those prototypes. Purity seal and the gold of his little things here. Cufflinks, I'll call them. Also, use yellow for a few things in here. We got yellow right here. So a little bit of nice little thing. Just gotta be patient with my brush strokes. Like the gold cuff right there beside the red. Super patient. It's only the second time I'm using my glasses, so it's kind of a learning curve for me as well in getting the gauge of where my brush is. It's super cool because I can actually see things really well. But I don't want to overcompensate because as I move my brush, I don't want it to, get into the wrong nook or cranny. So I'm just kind of taking my time with it and being very cautious. There we go. layer of that. Just to kind of make sure it's nice and saturated. So this is another example. I'm just kind of putting in a second layer of a few things here. Heading back to work, I'll be sure to check out the finished product on Facebook. Yeah, absolutely. Once this video is done, I'll head out to the game store to get some contrast paints and maybe a model holder if they have some. Absolutely, Junior One Eye. Are you in the area, Junior One Eye? First time viewer on the channel. My area is in like the Greater Sudbury area, or are you a viewer from outside? If you've already gone, that's okay. Thank you for joining. Thanks for being here. These glasses are amazing. From good old Chelmsford. Awesome. Well, it's happy to have you on stream today, buddy. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your shift. Good old Chelmsford indeed. Go. All right, getting some green colors in for the leafy areas. So I'm using warp lightning, so that's nice and bright. So warp lightning is a contrast paint. And be careful not to knock it over. Okay, there we are. Or Chim is Ferd for some people's pronunciation, to be believed. I knocked over a tall bottle of our gas earth shade on Wednesday. I was so mad. Yes, it's horrible. And these contrast paints are like liquid gold, right? The colors. All right, so let's get it back in. We're gonna put some basilicum gray back in here. Black peak of his hat in between the yellows. All right. I am going to I don't think my my use and application for the white gloves worked. So I'm going to make them a little bit whiter here. I'm going to close up some paints here. Where did I get these old man glasses? These old man glasses were gotten through Amazon. It's a little company. Just look for magnifying glasses, and you'll find what you're looking for. Okay, so let's get these gloves nice and white. Mr. Nuts 31, great work. I'm painting a Death Watch Marine at the same time as you are. Nice, man. Nice, Mr. Nuts. Were you giving yourself a 1-hour painting challenge as well? If so, please share your work. Put it up on my Facebook account. Be happy to share it out and give you a shout out for your challenge. Awesome, good stuff, Mr. Nuts. Send it up on my post it up on my Facebook page. You'll see the social links in the underneath the stream. Really like to give you a shout out on the page for your progress and hard work. Good job, dude. Okay, so here we go. I'm just doing quick edge highlighting because this sash is already like a gray color. So I'm just doing the edge highlighting on this to make it so that it looks nice and white. Right up into the edges. While we're in a little bit of a lull for me chatting, I guess I'd like to give a nice shout out to all of my patrons and subscribers. Last week we had our first 2 subscribers to the channel. We had G Spock, who's in here watching us, who was my very first subscriber on the channel on the stream. So thank you so much, G Spock. And then we had Wraith Dancer as well. So thank you so much to those 2. We also have a shout out to my patrons in my Patreon account down below. You'll see that these folks are here and about every once in a while. We have TBMC Kevin and TBMC Irvin. So thank you so much for your sponsorship and patronage, as well as Wraith Dancer as well. He's a longtime supporter and an original gangster. So when you hear this Wraith Dancer while you're watching online afterwards, I know you're on night shift, but OG to the channel. So thank you so much for your patronage. It really truly is awesome and really appreciated. Nice, good stuff, Junior One Eye. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna get a little bit more light color in here for my highlights for my skin tones. So we're just gonna kind of just get the edges. That's too thick, damn. So we're just kind of getting all of this light area. It's just too thick. The idea here is I want it to be a little bit lighter so that I can come back in with a wash. How are we doing? 7:14. All right, so I have 20 minutes left. It's not too bad, not horrible. A couple of things I noticed I missed. One, some gold down here. Use my saliva eraser. Hopefully I can erase that on the edge. Okay, a wash will help that. All right, so what's next? I'm gonna do some cool things here. Hopefully cool things. All right, so we're gonna highlight some green really quickly. We're gonna get some purple in here. And use that green on there too. So we're gonna go with some purple. Alright, so this case here, I'm going to get green on here. I'm going to wash it a little bit later. On this one. Let's see the colors. Right. Come in and also something that I want to do is I want to just kind of grab this here. So I'm just painting the casing of my gun in this gray, this shadow gray. I'm going to wash it later to give it that depth. So for those of you who are watching, on Sunday, this Sunday coming, I will be doing my Finish That mini segment. So Finish That mini segment, for those of you new to the stream, Finish That mini segment is when someone sends in a model that needs love. So whether they just haven't gotten around to finishing the model and they want me to finish it with my take on it, that they may have painted the model, several years ago and want an uplift on the model itself, or they've gotten 3 colors on it, their child painted it, and they're ready to send it in for me to give it a little bit of an upgrade. So the idea around it is that I actually got the idea from the eBay Miniature Rescues channel, and Mark D. Mark D is one of my regulars on the stream as well, and the idea around it is, as you find models that you want to have finished, I can give a little bit of love and support to the model and finish it off for you. Hence the name of my segment called Finish That Mini. And I normally do it on Sundays because it takes me a little bit longer than an hour. This past week's stream, I incorporated a 1-hour painting challenge with it. But essentially what I do is I take the model as is and give it a little bit of love to get it to a little bit of a better tabletop standard, or a standard that my viewer really wants to see on there. So it's a really cool way of being able to do that. All right, so there we go. We got some nice colors on that fur. All right. Ooh, and that's Griff Charger gray is a nice gray. All right. What's next here? I have some washes that I need to do. I'm switching out to a sepia. I don't want to use Reichland Flesh Shade because that's a gloss finish that I have. I don't have Earth Shade. Here we go, Seraphim Sepia. So Seraphim Sepia is going to be used for my golds and ropes here. So essentially, I'm just going to place this in here. And I'm also going to use it for the skin tone on here as well. So all I'm doing is just laying this down to give a little bit more depth to the model. Right? So especially in the face, you can really see how the face will look a little bit different now, as well as the depth in the. I think I need to shake that a little bit more. It seemed like it wasn't super nice. And then all of my golds, I'm gonna get that as well. And I'm intentionally being a little bit sloppy around the edges of the golds because I want the shade to go around those edges. Right, same thing here. want this to be captured. All the gold down here. The yellow or the gold around the edges of his cuff. I'm just taking a little bit of time to take a little bit of the excess off. All right. Gold on top of his hat. Helmet, just kind of getting in the greens as well. Gives it a nice shade and tone. A little bit more of an earthy tone. There we go. It's coming along. All right, I'm gonna try a couple things here. Gonna get my basilicum gray on that gun again, because that blue just really stands out. And that's okay. Intention of it is to make it so that it's just highlighted that way. So there we go, nice. There. I'm gonna use my contrast here with my white. So I'm just putting this stuff in on the white areas. His hands. Very intentional of where I'm putting these here, this here. Okay. All right, so with that, I'm gonna do a couple things here. I'm really disappointed with my boots the way they are, so I'm gonna actually make them look like brown leather boots, but they're black, right? So that's cool because it's just gonna be a nice dark brown in here. So I'm just kind of giving it this brown color to change it so that you can distinguish between his pants and his boots. And what's nice is I don't have to worry about the gold because the gold has the sepia around it already. All right. All right. Need to let all this dry over here. I'm gonna do that blue that I was talking about. So we're gonna do what are we gonna do here? Yeah, we're gonna do a aethermatic blue on the sword. Kind of get a nice effect on there. I'm not worrying about putting it anywhere special. I'm just kind of putting it on so that you can get a sense of a nice blue glow from the power sword. Okay. A couple of things that I want to do here. 24. I got 11 minutes. Okay, so we got some red here. I find myself taking my glasses on and putting my glasses off and stuff. They're kind of cool, but when I'm looking far away, I can't really see anything. So I'm just kind of popping out this red here. Make this stand out a little bit more. And it just kind of brings it together a little bit. Make sure that this right, and we're gonna go one step further and bring that out just a little bit more with some yellow in there. Just for the edges and stream highlights here. Okay. He's coming along. Let's get that violet in there. Well, I still have some time. Right, I'm actually just going to put it in as the violet itself, just flat violet. I'm not using the contrast color here. Part of me thinks I should have done some of this a little earlier. That's okay. Yeah, I'll pop him off his model on his base. Just need to get the angle in here. So, Mr. Nuts, how's your model coming along? Are you gonna meet the 1 hour challenge? I'm thinking that I might on this one. I'll have some touch-ups that I'll want to do to kind of make sure that the model is in really good shape for my client. But you know, this is gonna be a really nice standard for on the tabletop. So I'm not worried about the challenge that I've made here. Almost there. Good stuff, man. I don't want to bother you while you're painting, but I'm super stoked to chat with you about how your progress and whatnot. You know, I have questions about who are you? Where are you from? Are you from the Sudbury area? Are you watching because you know me personally, or are you following along because it's your hobby night and you stumbled across my Facebook page somewhere because I posted it in 5 million different groups? I have questions to ask you. Okay. Okay, so with that, what's the word I'm looking for? With that cloak, that water, found it on Facebook, and I'm from the GTA. Nice, awesome, man. Glad to have you aboard. I'm we're up from I live up in the northern Ontario region, so I'm from Sudbury, Ontario, and most of the people in my area typically watch because they know me and stuff, so that's cool. I'm happy to have you aboard. So what I'm doing is, in this case, I'm just taking some darker purple contrast paint, and with the violet wet, I'm essentially just putting in that darker purple in the recesses so that I don't have to wash it. It's just gonna be nice and dark around those edges, around the place where I want it to be dark. And what it does is a nice blend for the cloak as well. Especially when you're doing it in a nice, quick environment like this. So yeah, I'm super happy to have you on the channel, Mr. Nuts. Okay. One thing I'm gonna probably do is my gold around here. Got 5 more minutes. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! There's my gold. Okay, gold. So I'm gonna do gold up in here. Gotta be. You know, spend so much time taking on and putting on and taking off these old man glasses. Gosh darn it. Gosh dang it, you young people. Keeping me honest up in here. I should put the model back on the holder. Off camera. I know. Sorry. G-Splock. Oh, I should have taken a pic of you in your tiara and posted it on the store wall. Yeah, go ahead. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Any publicity is good publicity. Alright, so with that drying... Okay. Gotta finish off the base here. Gotta be super, super cool. We're gonna do Wildwood. Wildwood? No, I do Argos Dunes with his models. Argos Dunes. Okay. Get this a little bit more wet. Super cool method for doing bases as well is using contrast paints. Makes it so that you don't have to do super lots of dry brushing and whatnot. I don't typically do the bases on my 1 hour challenges, but pushing the limits today. And you know what? Is that dry? Nope, not yet. Okay. I've got 2 more minutes. Okay. Don't want to do any last minute stuff. Yes, I do. I want his gems over here to be purple. So we're going to put the Magos purple on. And then going to put the where did my purple go? Silicon gray, where did my purple go? I just had purple out, did I? Not. Nope, I didn't. Oh yes I did. Cyan purple. So put this on the top of those gems. And just hit the bottom of it. Last but not least, it is 7:35 and I am done. Whew! 1 hour exactly. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. Super, super happy with the outcome of this 1 hour painting challenge. Warlord Commissar. A couple of things I will do is I'll probably come in and do a little bit more cleanup around the face itself. It's really kind of chunky and blocky, but the goal of the 1 hour painting challenge is to get the model so that it's in a standard for tabletop, which I really think that this is. Thank you so much, Leaf Lover. Thanks for signing in and joining. But there we go. Thank you, Garrett. Much appreciated. Super happy about this. So again, everyone, don't forget to join me on Sunday, where I'm going to be doing a Finish Dat mini model. In this case here, I do have a Forge World ogre that I'll be painting, finishing up for TBMC Kevin. He's graciously donated or asked us to finish that up. For those of you who didn't catch my previous one, this is what I did in my 1 hour painting challenge on Sunday this past week. From a primed model to finished model here, Mogan Raw had been completed, so I'm pretty happy with that. Mark D was that. Thank you, Mr. Nuts. I really am looking forward to seeing your progress as well, so please post on my Facebook page so I can see that, or send me a message with a link if you don't want to do it publicly. Really would like to see that. It would be super cool, man. Super nice to have you on board, and hopefully you can watch. Don't forget to hit that heart button somewhere to follow me so that you get notifications of when I'm doing it. I do stream every Sunday from noon till 3 p.m. and every second Tuesday with a 1 hour painting challenge like this here. So again, thank you so much to all my patrons. If you're interested, please consider becoming a patron. It helps out really lots. I do give away models, and that's the sole way and means in which I do that. I am painting a Sister Superior model, which you've seen a little bit earlier, finishing her up, and I'll be giving her away on my next stream as well. So she'll be finished on my next stream, and I do giveaways for all my followers and whatnot. So subscribers, I'll put out some rules to make sure that everybody knows how to obtain entries into that. So, again, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. My name is OJ. I am your brush jockey over here at Brush Jockey Studios. Until next time, keep on painting.